Here's Business Spotlight from your local voice, FM 107.9 and AM 990. And here's your host, George Bryant.
Good morning and welcome to the Business Spotlight. Today we are talking growth with Tracy Strickland at Triumph Bank. One of my favorite days of the week is to get in here with Tracy, always bringing in fabulous guests for us to talk with. And today we've got a special guest. Jeff Hay is in the house. Welcome to our studio, Jeff.
Welcome. Thank you for having me.
And Tracy, it's always great when we get together.
I know. I love these mornings when we get to introduce your listeners to members of our team. And Jeff and I have had a chance to work together for, is it 3 or 4 years now?
It's been 4 years now.
Yeah, it just time zooms by. Jeff is one of our leaders on our mortgage team. So he's a mortgage loan originator. And, you know, when we prep for shows like this, it allows me really to have some time to visit with the team, you know, outside of work and just, you know, find out, you know, where they grew up and, you know, how they got into banking and mortgages. And Jeff is a lifelong Memphian, proud to be from Memphis. And when my son just started his freshman year at Christian Brothers High School this past week, and so he went to Christian Brothers for a couple of years.
I did, yes.
At Briarcrest. But tell us your experience growing up in Memphis and just being so proud to work for a community bank.
Well, Memphis is a great town, as we all know. I mean, sometimes people give us kind of a negative image, but I love being here. I would never consider living any other place, but I have been fortunate to grow up, and the great part about that is you get to know so many different people. And as far as my situation with Triumph, I came on about 4 years ago, and I've been in the industry for 20 years. So I would look around for a specific company, and I found the best.
And we're so thrilled to have you. And, you know, I always love to hear stories like what got you in to banking, what got you into mortgage, because, you know, it can be a tough industry. Obviously, it's we have a lot of regulation and a lot of things, but mainly we're here to serve our customers. But I know you originally were not a banker, but can you tell us a quick story on how you started getting into mortgages?
Well, years ago, I was in the cell phone industry, and a friend of mine that worked for a local bank here, actually more of a national type bank, called and said, "Hey, how would you like to get in the mortgage industry?" And I said, "Sure, let's talk about it." And we talked over a period of time, and finally I started to go to work for them. They were kind of a wholesale type lender where we called on mortgage brokers.
Okay.
And that's how we got our business. And I did that for the first 5 years of my experience in this industry, and then switched over to retail originating, where I call and I deal directly with the client.
And that's what most people, when they think of a mortgage lender, they think, oh, I need to buy a house, I'm going to call Jeff or a member of our team. But there's so many different facets.
There really is.
Yeah.
There really is. And we have a lot of people, real estate agents, friends, CPAs, attorney, all these people involved. Let's face it, everybody buys a home, or at least would
at some point you
hopes to
right?
buy a home. And because of that, our client base is pretty much everybody out there. So it's relationships are huge in this industry, and that's what, you know, we try to do, and that's what I've tried to do over the last 20 years is create those relationships. And that's the fun part about the job.
Right, because I think what you always talk about, you think, I'm going to buy a home, I'm going to be there forever. Clearly people move around, but you want to be that contact for them no matter where they move. And I know you've got a recent story because we can lend in all 50 states now, right?
We can lend in all 50 states, and about 4 years ago, I had a client referred to me, a couple that had moved here from Ohio, and he had gotten a job at the University of Memphis, and had a great time getting to know them, really nice family, and I had not spoken with them in a while, and I just recently got a call, and he said, "Hey, we're moving back to Ohio." I said, "Cool, what do you got going on?" He said, "Well, I'm going to go work for the Cincinnati Bengals." I said, "Okay,
awesome. Wow.
That's a lifelong dream of every guy in the world. You are working at it with an NFL team." And so that was really exciting.
That's awesome.
And so they're in the process of relocating back there now. And because we can do loans in all 50 states, I'm able to help them out, which has really been cool to kind of get to know them all over again. And then when they move again, he goes to the Green Bay Packers,
That's
or
right.
whoever the heck else he goes to, I'm going to follow him there.
That's
so,
right.
So that's kind of a neat story.
That's a perfect experience. Well, I know when we come back, we'll dig into really how you care for your home buyers, really what they can expect service level, why some really awesome products that you love to talk about. But we'll take a break and be right back.
You're listening to Let's Talk Growth with Triumph Bank and our host, Tracy Strickland. We'll be right back after this break. You're listening to The Voice, FM 107.9 and AM 990.
Here's Business Spotlight from your local voice, FM 107.9 and AM 990. And here's your host, George Bryant.
Welcome back to our studios on this Tuesday morning. Let's Talk Growth with Tracy Strickland. And she's got our special host today, Jeff Hay. And Jeff is a mortgage lender originator for Triumph Bank. Welcome back to our studios.
Thanks, George. Well, getting to know Jeff, he's just such a sweet soul, and he's just has so much experience. And I think being able to put myself in that home buyer shoes, it can be such a daunting and scary situation. I know we've had some of your team members come in and talk about what just the local Memphis home buying market is right now, and it can be kind of hard to get that property as fast as, because homes are selling so quickly now. But do you want to give our listeners just a sneak peek of, if they are looking for a home, number one, like why they should call you, Jeff, but then what they can expect as far as that whole process?
Absolutely.
Okay.
It is very important. This market that we're seeing right now in Memphis is unique, and that if you're wanting to buy a house, you better be ready, and you better be ready to make a serious offer quickly. And so it's really imperative that I prepare them for the mortgage process, and got to get them a pre-approval or a pre-qualification letter, and they've got to be ready and armed that when they go with their real estate agent to buy that house, that they provide that, so they so the seller of that property knows that they're serious about that offer and that they truly want to buy it. So it's really up to me to bring in, especially first-time home buyers, sit them down and say, this is how this is going to work. And so I want to kind of babysit them in a way. And that's not a condescending thing. That is, we want them to understand from day one how this process is going to work, and walk them through what the costs are going to be, what the down payment, what's your monthly payment. That's kind of important.
So important.
Yeah.
People forget that. They think, oh gosh, I've approved that. That's fantastic. Yes, I'm going to buy a house. Until you realize your budget, and you're like, oh, yeah.
Right.
It's not just the loan amount. It's the taxes and the insurance and everything looped in. And that holistic approach, it's so smart.
It truly is. And to be honest with you, I think my approach, I wouldn't say it's unique. I'm sure other people probably do it. But when I am talking to somebody, I show them what that monthly mortgage payment is. We look at their income, and we look at the fact that maybe if both of them are employed, maybe you should budget according to only one of you being employed, because I think long term, that's the safe thing to do. So you want to be comfortable writing that check every month, and you don't want to feel burdened that, something happened, that all of a sudden within a month or two, you're out of the house. So it's important for me to educate them throughout the process, kind of hold their hands and say, listen, it's going to be okay. And also, I think what's really important as a mortgage loan originator is I'm also an underwriter. So from day one, I say to them, listen, here are the things I'm going to need from you to kind of make that process work smooth, because we don't want it to be tedious and cumbersome. Because when that happens, especially with first-time home buyers, they get a little panicky.
Sure.
So we want that to be an easy process. And yes, now it's compliance is difficult. It's tough. We have to get a lot more than what we used to. Years ago, if you were breathing, I think I was telling George this, if you're breathing, you got a loan.
Wow.
Now we're going to really check you out, which is good, because now we're going to get buyers that should be able to purchase a home.
Right.
Extremely important. And that builds values and better neighborhoods. So we definitely want to make sure that the process is as smooth and seamless.
When I think when you're talking to those first-time home buyers, I know that they are probably super eager to do that. But then I think you also, and I know you are, extremely real to them when you realize they're not ready.
Oh, absolutely.
Right. And so tell us what happens when you discover that situation and how you coach them and probably prepare them for, like, if you do this, this, and this, where, in a year we can get back together.
Absolutely. Well, some people come to me and they're not ready for whatever reason that might be, credit or income or whatever, or they just don't have a down payment and maybe they don't fit into a program that would help them in that situation. So I bring them into the office, I sit them down, and we'll pull their credit, and then we'll kind of show them the cost of doing all this. And we'll say, here are some things we need to improve upon, and then let's get back together in a couple of months or a couple of weeks or whatever it is. Right. And then at whatever point in time in the future, you'll be ready then. Yeah. But I'm going to walk you through the process, and I'm also going to tell you, listen, I'm going to stay in touch with you. Okay. So a month to whatever it is, at some point in time, even if it's a year down the road, we'll get you in a house. But you'll have to do certain things to be able to do that. And you know what? That's the great part about what we do, because it's a great job in that we get to help people. They get in that first home, and the excitement. You're not buying a washing machine. You're not buying a weed eater. You're buying a home. It's a big deal. And so we want to make sure that when they walk in there for that closing, they're like, I know exactly what to expect. Oh, yeah. Super important.
Well, it's tremendously helpful and it's valuable as you're serving the community and everybody that you talk with on that. But I know there's a particular couple of products that seems like I know that you've been working with a lot with your customers, that portfolio mortgage. Can you talk to us about that?
It's a great product for us. We do offer pretty much every other kind of product, VA, USDA, conventional, whatever it might be, that the portfolio product is perfect for somebody, let's say that they're self-employed. Okay. And their tax returns might look a little different than somebody that's just a regular
W-2.
Right. And so it's kind of a common sense underwriting, if in fact that does truly exist, but it is in a way. Yes. It's just not as strict as maybe some of the other guidelines that we have to adhere to. So I love that program for people that really got great credit scores and everything looks good. It's just their tax returns maybe look a little different than everybody else's. So it's a perfect fit, and we have found that's maybe one of our more popular programs. So we try to use that as often as possible.
Well, I think so many people feel like there's just, one box that they have to fit in to get a mortgage. But then they realize there are so many different types of programs. So by having a true relationship with a mortgage lender such as yourself or any member of our Triumph Mortgage or Triumph Bank Home Loans team is to get to know them as a person, what their needs and goals and their background is, so that you can then frame a program that's going to be right for them instead of just saying, okay, well, this is the product that we've got. You're going to have to wait a little while to do it. So it's a very consultative approach, I believe. Right?
Absolutely. It really is. And what I tell everybody in this day and time, accessibility is a big thing. But we do have to be accessible, and that's whether by text or by email or call. And so if somebody texts me at 8 o'clock on a Friday night and they're trying to buy a house and they need a new pre-approval letter, well, guess what? They're going to get it because that is what our job entails. I can't look at that like, I'm right in the middle of something. These people trying to buy a house, that's super important. And maybe it's not convenient to do it at noon on Friday or Thursday. It's the best time is over the weekend or whenever it is. We need to be accessible. We need to be available to them. And, I try to form a friendship almost with each one of our clients. And because, again, 5 years down the road when they're going to buy that next house, I want them to come back to me and feel like, Jeff really helped me through that process.
And care about me as a person, not just another mortgage I'm trying to get through the books, right?
Right.
That's what everything we're about at Triumph is all about, is building those lifelong relationships with not only our customers, but as they grow older and they've got kids buying their first home, they're going to call Jeff, right?
I hope so.
Yeah.
I hope they do.
Yeah.
I hope they do.
Well, I know we've got a couple of, things that really differentiate the mortgages that you can get at Triumph versus other companies. Can you talk about those before we take another break?
Well, absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. One of the things in particular that attracted me to come to Triumph and work is that we now have no lending fees, which is tremendous. That's a savings of almost $1,000 in closing
That's
costs.
incredible.
That in and of itself is kind of a make or break deal for a lot of people that are first-time home buyers and have saved some money but haven't saved, maybe enough to have that variance there. So that we have local underwriting. The best thing about, to me, Triumph is the fact that we're always tweaking our system. When I say our system, is like how we go from the online application all the way through the process of setting up the loan, then go into underwriting and our pre-closers and our closer. We're always trying to make it better. And the fact that everybody is here and it's local and I can pick up the phone and talk to my underwriter, well, that's huge because I do know other companies don't have that type of relationship. And so I don't think that I could work for that type of company. Nothing against them. It's that I need to have that one-on-one contact with the people that are approving the loans. And because I need to be able to give answers to my clients at all times, not a day later or 2 days later. So it's important that, again, it's accessibility.
Well, and it's being proactive with them because if you're the home buyer, you're just putting yourself in their shoes. Like you want to know what's the timeline. When can I expect to finally get in my house?
Absolutely.
And so you're able to provide from that pre-approval. Like, okay, we've accepted that, and we're going to start this process. You can let them know. Okay, we've almost got guaranteed close dates now. Like by X date you're going to be ready to move in, and that's just a tremendous benefit.
It really is, and we pretty much guarantee the fact that we are going to close on a certain day. So that, and along with the fact that everything, again, we're trying to make it a seamless process. It's not perfect, but nothing is. But lo and behold, we do try to service everybody. We want those clients. We want to get that review after we close that loan saying, hey, these guys were great to work with. They really cared about us. It wasn't just a matter of making money or a number or whatever. They truly are nice people that kind of care about Memphis, and that's something really important to me too. So
awesome. Well, we'll talk about that in a few minutes when we come back.
We're going to take a quick break. You're listening to Let's Talk Growth with Tracy Strickland, our special host, and also her guest, Jeff Hay, right here in the studio, finding out a lot of great things about what's going on over at Triumph Bank. I want to leave you a phone number to write down, 901-333-8800. TriumphBank.com is a great website. You need to check that out. We'll be right back and find out a little bit more about the mortgage business at Triumph Bank. You're listening to The Voice, FM 107.9 and AM 990.
I was flying, running down a dream.
And now back to Business Spotlight on The Voice, FM 107.9 and AM 990.
Welcome back to our studios. We are doing our Business Spotlight. One of my favorite things to get to do, we shine our spotlight on some of our great business partners. On Tuesday, it's Let's Talk Growth with Triumph Bank. And what a great bank. They are your local community bank. They're the people that you can go to for checking, business loans, and also if you want to buy a house and get a mortgage. And we've got the special guest in today, Jeff Hay. Jeff, welcome back to our studios.
thank you.
It's good to have you here, and it's always good to talk about a little bit about behind the curtain, sort of,
Love it.
about the business and what really goes on. And I know you guys are staying really busy because the mortgage business is hot, and you guys are in a prime spot with some, good rates, tremendous amount of programs that go on. But I really like the personal touch that we're talking about today, where you really look out for the customer, advise them, and that is the same approach that I hear that Triumph Bank takes. Even when you're sitting down with someone for a business loan, you kind of get a consultant along with the, with the purchase. So.
Well, it's what we pride ourselves on, and being a community bank, whether we're serving all of Memphis, we're opening our office in Brentwood, in Middle Tennessee. We just have a group of all-stars that they wake up every morning and care about the people they're serving. And that's why we get paid, and that's what we're here for. And, I'm just so proud of the character of our team. Everybody that I bring in from our team, they're just awesome people.
Absolutely.
Jeff and I work about, 4 or 5 offices down from each other at our Ridgeway Center Parkway office. And I love hearing Jeff talk about his passion for the city. And so, not only are you working with, if you're buying a home and want to reach out to Jeff to help you through that process, but you're going to be working with somebody who cares deeply about Memphis and serving. We have a great service model at our bank, but Jeff does a lot on his own, and I would love for you to talk about why that's important to you. Jeff, maybe spotlight maybe just a couple of things you do. Not to we're not at all. I will brag about you. You will never
Right.
brag about yourself, but I would love for you to share some of the things you do.
Thank you. I appreciate that, Tracy. Yes, Memphis does mean a lot to me. Our family goes to a multi-ethnic church, and that's been a game changer for us. It's opened our eyes to really a lot of things in this city, and that has allowed us to reach out to a lot of other individuals in the city that might not have things as good as I do.
Right.
And so that part of our responsibility is to be accountable for what we do and how we spend our money and how we spend our time. I know we're all really, really busy, but bottom line is this: you're never really too busy to kind of reach out and help some people that really need it. And I know you do such a great job with a lot of different neighborhoods in town. And that's what I like about Triumph also, is that, it's not just we're going to do this because, well, that's part of, we're trying to look good and create that image. We do it because we really care about those people. So, whether it's working a soup kitchen or being involved with a certain ministry or whatever it might be, and there's so many good nonprofit organizations in this town, and some of those people are friends of mine. So they're great to work with, and all you have to do is just look around, and there's people in need. So reach out and help, and that's really our obligation. It makes you feel good.
It does.
It really does.
It brings it back to you. We were talking about that. Whenever you go to serve, it comes back to you tenfold. But I know there's probably some listeners saying, I've been looking for somebody to really help me through this process. I really want to call Jeff, maybe just to get an opinion. No, I'm not. You might not be quite ready, but just I want to talk an idea through. How would they reach you directly, Jeff?
Well, they can call me at 901. Is it okay to give my number?
Oh,
Sure.
please.
Okay. 901-483-4572, or they can email me at jhay@triumphmortgage.com. But you can always call or text me. My phone is always on. My wife goes, "Really? Did you get a text last night at midnight?" And you answered it? That's so weird. I said, "Man, you never know." That's what I love about my job. There's a lot of flexibility, but again, every loan I do is with someone new most of the time, unless it's a prior client. What a great thing. I get a new relationship every time I do a loan. So yes, please call me. I would love to help you out. And let's just talk about it. There's no obligation. You can apply online. Doesn't mean anything. It just means I'll look at your situation. I'll present some things to you and say, this is what you qualify for. So, if it sounds good, let's move forward. If not, well, then call me in 6 months.
Yeah,
However I
exactly.
can help you, I'll be glad to do that.
Awesome. Jeff, thank you so much for taking time this morning.
It's always
to do
great having Tracy in the studio. Jeff, hey, it's good talking to you today.
It was great talking. Thank you.
You're very welcome. Let's talk growth with Triumph Bank. We'll be back next Tuesday at 7:30. You're listening to The Voice, FM 107.9 and AM 990.